This is The Basketball Show with Shane the Hammer Heel. What they gonna say next?
Hello, this is episode 19 of The Basketball Show, proudly brought to you by TCL Mobile, 2K and Bet with Joel. Joe Healy and Shane Hill with you as always. Hammer, what a week for Australian basketball. I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, it's huge. Everything happening, getting to the money time in both leagues, isn't it? The NBA, the NBL, all happening in the WNBL as well.
It
Bit
is.
of turmoil there.
Yes. Upsets galore, though. We'll kick things off with our TCL starting five. Well, Southeast Melbourne Phoenix are crashing at the moment. One win, one loss over the weekend, but the one that really stands out is the fact that they went down to the 36ers quite badly. I did not give Adelaide a chance in that one, so I'll happily eat my words. But what are you seeing from the Phoenix?
I didn't give them a chance either. And I'm surprised. With the team that they've built, and this isn't like the first year, they're 12-10, equal with Tassie in their first year, and they've got all this talent, just haven't been able to get it done. They are really, really disappointing. I thought they were going to finish the season on a high and be a legitimate chance to compete for a title after making the playoffs last year, but no, they're an underachiever right now. Yeah,
obviously missing Ryan Broekhoff, but for me it's some of those guys who really had established themselves, Kyle Adnam, Isaiah Liafa, who just aren't or don't seem to be able to be playing their roles quite well. You've got someone like Mitch Creek and Xavier Mumford who are both producing offensively.
They just over-recruited though. They didn't need Adnam and Liafa. It was just the same position, same player. They would have been better off using that money bolstering somewhere else, in my opinion. They're deep, but they don't play D, and right now they're not making the playoffs.
No, they're definitely not. They are, you mentioned, level on points with Tassie, who were terrific over the weekend. It started with that massive win in Perth, and then this on Saturday, 84-82 winners over Brisbane. They also are really going to struggle to make that top four. It's almost as if that's set in stone at the moment. But for a team that are only just coming to the competition, they're still going to cause teams problems in the lead up to the finals.
Well, they haven't had their marquee guy all year as well. That's been exceptional. This is an unbelievable story. 12-10 in their first year. Don't have a big budget by the look of it. You know, no stars on this team whatsoever. They play hard. They play together. They're committed to their roles. Scott Roth's done a great job with this. He's still coach of the year. We flicked him on the nose last week.
He's still coach of the year.
We're not going to put him in the naughty corner for acting like a buffoon last week. But what he's done for the entire year has been absolutely incredible. And I reckon they're everyone's second favourite team. Well, they're mine anyway.
Are they?
They have to be. They're the underdogs, aren't they? Aren't they? They're not your second favourite?
Team, no.
Who's your second favourite?
Oh, probably Cairns.
Nah.
Tassie again.
They've been around forever.
Yeah, I know.
They've had years to build.
I like them. Did you say you wouldn't have watched their game? I think it was Friday night.
No.
40 had a bit of an issue with the camera and a timer. Anyway, it was funny. You weren't so keen on the Hawks when we were talking about them last week. They had a massive weekend. Went down and handed Melbourne a good one on their home court. Have they done enough to convince you that they are legit?
To win the championship? No. But they've done an unbelievable job to be able to make the top four, which is what they're going to do. And this is a huge win. And, you know, even as I'm saying that, you probably go, well, they've just knocked off Melbourne United, who are the top team. How can they not be a legitimate chance to win the championship? But I've still got question marks. I'm not convinced about their long-term opportunity to be able to win it. For me, it's the Kings and United still.
Okay. Shout out to Jacob Jackomas as well, who took over from Gorge, a win in his first game as head coach, and amazing scenes in the locker room after as well.
He was good too.
Yeah,
it was a bit of swagger.
It was
Kept
great.
saying swagger.
He's had an amazing couple of years from an experience point of view, working with Gorge, Tokyo, all that kind of thing. Yep. Royal streak 9 in a row for the Sydney Kings.
Come on, where's all the haters now?
Including they pretty much went and embarrassed Perth on their home floor.
You, Rucker, Matty Logue, you guys were all against them. After about 6 or 8 games, they were depleted with injuries.
Is a very, very strong way to put it. Question how they would come together. They're a really young team. And the season's not over.
I'm not sure they're that young, but you get players back and this team is rolling 9 in a row. Jalen Adams is incredible, but they've got 3 great imports. Shout out to Chris Pongrass as well for being able to put this team together and have the belief. They were patient. They waited for Ian Clark, got that right piece, and they are just so potent. They play hard. They play together. An exciting team to watch.
Who can stop them?
Right now, no one can stop them. But finals is different, so they're still going to have to prove themselves in a series against quality teams. But right now,
see, I think Hawks are most likely to be able to stop them.
Do you think so? That's you and Dory, and you
I just
love them
think
down the road.
their defence around the rim.
You love them down the road, don't you?
Yeah, I love the Hawks. I love the Kings too.
Okay, what are we going to see?
I love all the teams.
They're going to crush. They're going to give it to the Hawks, I reckon. The Kings.
Yeah, okay. We'll see. Exciting end to the season for those two teams in terms of that rivalry,
Halftime
which we'll talk about.
Halftime entertainment. Mud wrestling between Paul Smith
the two
and
owners
Dory.
in the ring. Would love it.
Oh, Paul will give it to
Maybe
him.
not mud wrestling, but
Paul will give it to him.
you reckon?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know about that. Wobbly Wildcats, Director Davis put as my headline here. They've had a tough weekend, 2 losses in a row, which they're clearly not used to having. You can see the frustration within the team, within the coaching staff.
Yep.
A lot of it, I think they've got to have been distracted. The fact that John Brown in town, potentially having a new import.
This is pro sport. Yeah, they're not distracted. This is pro sport. Players come and go all the time.
So what are you putting it down to?
That they got their ass handed to them by 2 better teams right there. In Tassie, there's no excuses for these guys. Have a look at the team that was put on the court. We all expected them to come home, win the majority of their home games, and they couldn't get it done. They got outplayed by Tassie, and then Sydney came in and made a statement. So there's no excuses for the Wildcats right now.
No excuses, but it doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
Yeah, but you're pros. You've got to get past that. It doesn't matter. An import could be playing, not playing. Mitch Norton's out. They've all been through that. That's pro sport. They need to be better. They'd be disappointed. And listen to ScoMo, we might hit Matt Logue on this, but he was disappointing in the press conference too.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Matty Logue is coming in just a moment. But just firstly, before we get there, a quick word on Brittany Griner, who it's an unbelievable situation, really. And the fact that no one's talking about it blows my mind. But she's pretty much stuck in Russia.
I don't know. This is the saddest story. As a dad of 3 girls, this is a sad story, and people aren't talking about it because the American government are saying don't talk about it. Right now, she's a political pawn.
Yeah. And
she's going to be held there. She could do 5 or 10 years in jail. She's in a Russian jail. She's been in there for 6 weeks. No phone calls, no nothing, no rights. This is really sad, and we bring that up because
to think about it.
It's terrible. Imagine one of your friends or kids being stuck in a Russian jail. She had a vapor that, and
every other person on the planet has. By the way,
there's nothing else. There's nothing that can be done for this lady. Nothing can be done. There's no politicians left in Russia. Not doing any favours. They're using this as it's really, really sad.
Yeah, well, we'll watch the situation, obviously, with intent, and fingers crossed that she is okay, but there's not really anything you can do, is there?
Yep, sad.
Alrighty, let's keep things moving. Matty Logue is in the studio next.
Breaking all the big news in basketball with Matt Logue.
Yes, the Daily Telegraph's basketball reporter, Matty Logue, is with us for the Lowdown. Matty, we'll get straight into it. New Zealand boss Dan Shamir is a coach under pressure.
Absolutely. He's got a contract, I must stress, until the end of 23-24. So last year they extended him for 2 years. But the drums are beating. What I'm hearing, and from reliable people, is that there are players within the Breakers system that are not happy. This has now reached player-manager level. And they're saying that the Breakers coach is under pressure, that he may not be there despite having a contract. There's even talk that they've looked afield to potentially find a replacement to keep players happy because they're worried about a mass exodus of players. Now, I stress that he's not saying that he will be sacked, but this is just where it's at, and respected people within the game are contacting me saying something's happening.
Interesting.
Very. And I don't think we can really judge Dan Shamir on what he's done this year, being away from home the last 2 years. But they made a big mistake getting rid of Paul Henare instead of giving him an extra year. He was the best coach, one of the best coaches in the NBL. Now he's overseas.
All right, let's keep things moving. The Kings and Hawks rivalry is set to reignite again on the court in a couple of weeks, but it's sort of bubbling away behind the scenes. This time, Bogut's put his foot in it.
Oh, he likes doing that. But a couple of weeks ago...
No surprises there.
No, not at all. A couple of weeks ago on his podcast, he had a crack at the Hawks and he said that Xavier Rathan-Mays, the only reason he was signed was because he's good family friends with Dori Kadari and from church friends. And basically said that's the only reason they signed him. Since then, Xavier's gone on and played well. My understanding is the Hawks are filthy. They're like, well, hang on a minute. Okay, yes, he is good church friends with Dori, but at the same time, we selected him because he's a very good player, and I think he's proved that in the last couple of weeks. Anyway, the Hawks have said, next couple of weeks, we've circled those games against the Kings. Bring it on. Paul Smith and the guys there are laughing. They're like, oh, how good's this?
But
you might have to bring the cage out.
How's he put his foot in it, Bogut? Bogut's just given us some honest opinions about what he thinks. The league's so sanitised that Dory and they get their back up from people having an opinion. Bogut's earned the right to have an opinion. If that's what he thinks, then applaud it. And I don't think Rathan-Mays has been anything great this year. He was part of their problems when they stunk it up.
He was.
I think he's been had
Better
good
since.
impact off the bench.
He's been okay. Come on.
He was never going to come in as their star import.
Well, that's what he was recruited for. Anyway, I want opinions like that. Basketball needs opinions from people that aren't sanitised.
He's not in this next debate, which is the MVP race. The floor is yours, Matty.
Oh, I'm happy to say it. Jalen Adams, give him the MVP. I think we can't just judge it on scoring. I think Bryce Cotton is the best scorer in the league. And he proves it again on the weekend. But what Jalen Adams does across the court, like his defence is better than Bryce's. What he does with his assists, how he brings other people into the game. If his scoring dries up, he finds ways to impact the game in other ways. And I think if the MVP is going to be judged on all of those things in basketball, it's why Ben Simmons is so great, even though he can't shoot. He's got other qualities. And I think Jalen Adams, at the moment, he's the new favourite to win the MVP. Well, he might not win it.
Hallelujah, mate. Hallelujah. We're calling last drinks. You're that late to the party. Last drinks at the start of the year. The Kings stunk. Jalen Adams wasn't right.
He wasn't there.
It's nice
Are
that
we
you're
riding on the
back.
fact that they're having a bit of a winning streak at the moment?
No, he's that good.
Yeah.
Jalen Adams is that good.
Melbourne lost, Perth lost, Bryce is no longer in the conversation, JLA is no longer in the conversation.
No, he is. Bryce
Cotton's in the conversation.
Give them, another week. Melbourne have got Hawks and Perth or something. They win both of those games. JLA is back on top.
No
way.
No. Adams is so much ahead of JLA. But Cotton's a superstar. We know that. He's done it for a long time. But Jalen Adams is legit, and they've won 9 in a row because of him.
Okay. The season's not over.
This is the beauty of it, Joe.
We cannot call this now. No way. Perth, we alluded to it before, under pressure. This whole import situation has kind of been clearly stressful for a lot of people. Scott Morrison sort of erupted, you could say, boiled over, perhaps in his press conference after their game, after they lost against the Kings the other day. Can you talk me through that situation from a journalist point of view? Yeah,
so it was a young reporter that asked Scott Morrison, he said, they lost the game to the Kings, and he said, has the talk around an import and bringing the import in, and they haven't been able to get it done yet, has that been a distraction? Now, Morrison lost it and basically said to him, mate, I'm sick of you asking the questions, go learn about the game and write about something else. It was just an unnecessary comment when it was a fair enough question, and I'm sure Shane can come in here. We don't know what's happening with their import yet. They've confirmed that they're in talks.
They can't really sign another import because they couldn't play playoffs. I mean,
it's a fair
question.
It's a fair question because Brown had to play on Saturday. They've given virtually no information, the Perth Wildcats. So questions are going to be asked. Yeah, but there was something going to happen. But what happened? What happened in negotiations? Was it FIBA? Was it the Russian club that wouldn't clear him? No one knows anything. The journalists have a right to be able to do it, and he has a responsibility to give everyone some sort of clarity. Condescending a young journo like that from a fair question, it's rubbish. He's under pressure, and he should be under pressure.
Yeah, fairly obvious that they need to bounce back without an import, it would seem. Maddie, thanks so much. Good insight.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Yes, time to go crystal gazing. We'll bring in Derek Rocker, as we do every week, as we look ahead to the next round of games. Now, gents, have to take you through the leaderboard first.
Of course you do.
D, you were at the bottom. Was D not winning just about last week?
Oh no, about 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago. He's fallen off the face of the earth in that place, down with 64. Matty, you picked yourself up on 68. Hammer and Director Dave on 69, and then I'm 2 points ahead on 70.
I suggest that Derek doesn't get a chance to even select teams this week as a penalty because he's 4 behind Matty. Matty hasn't put it in for a month. He's just got the away teams, and he's now 4 ahead of you, Derek. So I'm saying, mate, why? Why are you going to tip?
Hey, I'm coming strong to finish the season.
Okay.
All right, we'll see. Dee, we'll come to you first. Anyway, the first game of the round. Illawarra hosting your boys, Brisbane. Who you got?
Illawarra, they're playing very well. I still don't love how they're playing, but they're getting it done, and that's all that matters right now.
Fair enough. Maddie, Adelaide hosting Tassie.
Yeah, honestly, with Tassie, Adelaide been so disappointing this year, and I expect the charge to continue. They'll be too tough, and that's been their trademark all year, Tassie, and Adelaide haven't been tough, so no, they can't win that one.
Hang on, is this the Adelaide that just beat South East Melbourne Phoenix you're talking about?
Yep. I just don't rate them.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Hammer, Melbourne hosting the Hawks.
Big game, isn't it? And I think Melbourne will fight back on this one. They have to. They'll be licking their wounds. They'll be really disappointed about their efforts. And, all the credit to the Hawks. They came out, played well without Gorge. They were motivated. They played as a team. But I just think United have to bounce back if they're going to be the serious contenders to win this title.
Fair enough. The second game on Saturday. D, Cairns hosting South East Melbourne. Who have you got in that one?
This is a strategic move from me. I'm going with Cairns. And also, I like the way they played against New Zealand last round. Cairns all the way.
Fair enough. You definitely need all of that strategy to work your way back up the leaderboard. Maddie, the Jack Jumpers hosting the Kings.
Yeah, the Kings 10 in a row. I can't see them. I can't see the Jack Jumpers stopping them. And the way the Kings are playing, the way Jalen Adams is playing, their depth. McCall-Make has been sensational off the bench. Kings will win this one.
10 in a row for the Kings. It sounds pretty good off the tongue, doesn't it? The Bullets hosting the 36ers, Hammer?
There's a trophy. The biggest underachieving teams in the NBL this year go to these two teams. I think Brisbane might just sneak home. I have no confidence or no idea why, but I'll go with them, maybe because it's in Queensland.
These next two games are on Monday evening. So the Breakers are hosting Cairns, D.
These Monday evening games are pretty entertaining, and I'm giving it to Cairns to make it 3 in a row for the Taipans.
All right, like that. And then top two on the table, Perth are hosting United, Matty.
I'm tipping Perth to kick back. I think hit back rather. I think they'll be lamenting those two losses at home, and as hard as it will be against United, I think Perth can get it done.
Flip of the coin, that one. D, who have you got in that one?
I've got Melbourne in that one.
Okay, Hammer?
I'm going Perth. You just don't see Perth lose 3 in a row, so at home. So they have to be able to, desperation stakes for them. They've got to get this win.
Derek, best of luck with the strategy this week, and we'll check in on the leaderboard again next week. Well, each week we go in depth thanks to 2K, and I'm pleased to say that this week we're joined by Kings forward Xavier Cooks following that huge win in the West. Xav, great to have you on the show. You're yourself returning from injury, 14 minutes, 4 from 8 from the field. How did you feel out there?
Thanks for having me. It felt great. I mean, anytime you can get a win in Perth with the Red Army, it's always a crazy feeling. Even though I'm at 50% right now, it's still great to get a win, especially with a team that's so talented like themselves. And the boys really put on a great all-round performance. I mean, I don't know what we shot from the field, but I felt like we were barely missing out there that night. Just one of them days.
Mate, don't worry about the win. Let's talk about 9 in a row. Unbelievable effort for you guys to be able to get that done. And I was lucky enough to watch training last week, and it just looks like you guys get along well. There's a whole lot of pop, a lot of banter. Everyone understands their roles. It must be a great feeling right now.
100%. I mean, it's a lot of fun to come to work every day knowing we're on a winning streak. But yeah, I think we've really just started to figure out everybody's personalities on and off the court and how they like to play with each other and all that kind of stuff. And we're really flowing. You're right. The chemistry is crazy right now and everyone's having fun. It's easy to have fun when you're winning games, and we're not going to always keep winning games the rest of the year, most likely. So we've got to stay the same small habits that got us in this position.
It took a little while to get to that point, injuries to imports, changes in players as well. Can you describe the impact that someone like a Jalen Adams has on this group, though?
Oh, I mean, it speaks for himself. I mean, the guy's an MVP of this league, it looks like right now. He's just, the way he plays the game, he gets everybody involved. He reads the on-ball so well. everyone loves to play with him because if you make the right cut or you like shape up for a nice shot, he's always going to find you. And he's just a fun person to be around. He has a lot of fun on the court, and he takes the stress away from the pressure of the game. You've seen so many times the games get stressful. We just give the ball to Jalen to make a play. So he's a great teammate to have and a great person to have around us.
Yeah, talk to us about Chase. You talk about a lot of fun, but high energy coach, just watching him go about his business on the day-to-day. And the system of small ball, mate. It's been a revelation so far this year, so tough to defend.
Yeah, Chase is a great dude. Another guy that's very passionate about the games. I'm the kind of guy that rides the highs and rides the lows pretty hard from wins and losses. And Chase might be on the same level as me out there. But he's just got that great contagious energy around our team. And we have so many young guys. It kind of helps to have a young coach out there. And then the small ball thing, that comes from Chase, and shout out to Chris Pongrass too, putting the team together of a bunch of guys that are mobile, positionless basketball players. And a lot of teams in this league just can't match up with our versatility, I guess. Just having 2 4-men, I guess, 4 or 5 men that can push the ball up the court, guards that can just knock down anything, create their own shot. It's been a lot of fun to play out there, I'll tell you that much.
Xavier, I'm going to put you on the spot here. The top 4 is all but confirmed. United, Perth, Hawks and yourself. Who's your biggest threat for the championship?
Biggest threat? I'm going to have to give that to Melbourne because they spanked our ass. Oh, sorry about swearing, but they spanked us a couple months back, and that's always left a bad taste in our mouth. And obviously they're the 1 seed right now, but I would love to play Wollongong, just being the interstate rivals and just down the highway, and even Perth, just sending back from 3 years ago when they took the championship from us and all that kind of stuff. And I'm really happy to play anyone. They all create a different challenge individually, but probably Melbourne might be the toughest competition for us right now.
Mate, talk to us about your form this year. Last year, you had a few injuries. It was tough to be able to get any sort of momentum, but this year, it's just been outstanding and playing with a whole lot of confidence. And we spoke about the fit. It just looks like Sydney's a great fit for you right now with the style as well.
100%. You're right. It comes down to confidence and staying away from injuries and, the suit of basketball. The last 2 years just having to be able to develop them confidence and playing enough games and all that kind of stuff. And then this year having a healthy preseason and building my confidence throughout the Boomers camp and all that kind of stuff. And, just the way the team is designed and our skill sets about the players, it really complements my game a lot. And even have players like Jarrell Martin as our 5-man. He's one of the best 3-point shooting bigs in the league. And his versatility and all that kind of stuff, it really helps me shine. I can play off on balls with Jalen and all that kind of stuff. So it's not really just myself shining, it's the team shining, and I'm just taking credit for a bit of it.
Xavier, individually, how much are you thinking about the next step? So we're talking about, I guess, Summer League, and especially at the moment, it's that time of the year. There are scouts down in Australia. There are loads of eyes on the young guys around the group, but they're also going to be looking at you as well. How much does that play on your mind?
It's hard to not think about it a lot just because of social media, getting tagged and all this kind of stuff, but I'm really trying to focus on the small goals, and the goal for us right now is winning a championship with Sydney Kings, and I feel like if I can bring a championship to Sydney, then it'll take care of the rest. And I think winning teams, everybody gets paid, really. So just trying to win a championship and hopefully go over to America. Whatever happens in the future, it happens. But just taking care of the day-by-day process.
Yeah, it's funny as a pro, isn't it? Because that's what we have to do. The day-to-day now, you take care of that business. But part of it as well, we speak to our agents, we know what's coming, where we're going, and the challenges ahead. What's some of the feedback that the NBA's given you to say to make that level and to get a contract in Summer League? What are they looking at you improving your game?
I think the obvious one is shooting the ball. I'm shooting the ball terrible for the last couple of years, and that just comes back to confidence, mindset, getting reps up, all that kind of stuff. And I'm a little bit of a tweener. I play the 4 over here and a bit of the 3, but over there I'll probably have to play the 3 because the 4-men are just huge body. So just trying to transition back to the 3 spot again and still work on my perimeter thing, but mostly they just like my defense and my versatility, my ability to rebound the ball and push the pace and all that kind of stuff. So just really that pretty much.
Hammer alluded to the fact, Xavier, that you're having yourself a season. Obviously, being healthy is a big part of that, but in the off season, being part of that Boomers camp and the lead up to Tokyo, how much did you personally take from that experience?
I took a lot. They're the best players that Australia has to offer. And I didn't obviously make the team, but I was right there and I could contend with all those kind of guys. So I just put a lot of confidence from that. And then just small things like leadership and all that kind of stuff, bringing back into Sydney Kings, because we're a young team and all that kind of stuff. So we really needed someone to help step up in that leadership category. And I try to help with that kind of stuff. But just even little things like learning certain moves. Like Joe Ingles is really, really slow, say that much, but he just reads the game so well. He reads the on ball so well. He holds players off when he's holding plays off and on balls and all that kind of stuff. So just little things for individual players, but mostly just a mindset.
You made the Boomers a couple of years ago, got injured at the wrong time, ended up being replaced, but you look like the perfect fit for what the Boomers are doing. Brian Goorjian with a small ball lineup as well. He'd have to be really impressed. And it's got to be one of the major goals for you, being able to put on the green and gold, I guess.
100%. I mean, ever since I first got invited to a Boomers camp, that's been my number one goal, just to represent the country. And it really hurt coming so close this year, and then obviously getting injured 3 years ago. So that's obviously the goal. I think I'm a good fit, but obviously I'm biased. So we've got a lot of talent coming in through Australia, a lot of young talent, a lot of old talent, just a lot of talent coming through. So it's going to be tough to make that squad, but hopefully I'm playing good basketball at the time and can put my hand up and see what happens.
Yeah, Paris isn't too far away, Xav. Hey, thanks so much for joining us on the show. You guys are shooting for, 10 wins in a row against Tassie this weekend?
Yeah.
Championship, baby. Yep. Championship.
Amazing. Good luck. Good luck for the rest of the season.
I like that energy.
Good on you, buddy.
Thanks so much for having me, guys. Have a good day.
Catch ya. All right, Derek, sticking around for points made thanks to Bet with Joel D. We've been talking about it all show. It was a crazy week for Australian basketball, and it seems you had a couple of productive conversations up there in Brisbane as well.
Oh, yeah, Jill. Nothing worse than the awkwardness of having to interview a coach who you've been critical of all week. So after the game, after the Bullets win, after the Jack Jumpers win, I thought it was a great time to catch up with Scott Roth. And I mentioned to him, as I did on Twitter, that he was actually an idol of mine, and that I did give him a bit of stick during the week. But it's all business, and he was great about it. He laughed. He went on to talk about Cleveland basketball, people that we knew. And actually, my dad was one of his idols. So who would have known how this would have all transpired? And it's a life lesson, Shane, for you in particular. There's nothing wrong with making yourself vulnerable. It's a way to personal improvement.
Nice. Well done to you, mate. Good on you.
He's got nothing. I love that. All right, let's get into points made right now. Josh Giddey has shut it down for his season. He's done. He's sitting out with the hip problem, and also obviously to rest up for the second year of his NBA career. Is that a good move for you?
Well, they think bigger picture in the States. I mean, he's been a superstar. He's outperformed what most people would have ever thought he'd do as such a young rookie in the NBA. And you shut him down, they've got bigger fish to fry next year and for many years to come. He's a star, but he's going to be a superstar.
It's one of the biggest compliments that you can receive as a young player, in that your franchise thinks enough of you in the future to shut you down now, seeing that, they know what they have now with Josh. They've got a terrific playmaker, a guy who's really good for your team culture, and someone who I think has been surprisingly marketable in the United States. So I see nothing but good from this. It gives Josh a time to rest. He can still work on his jump shot, though, I'm sure, right, Shane? Because he has surprised people with his effectiveness from the three-point line as well.
Yep, for sure.
All right, let's move on to Miami. We all saw that vision of Jimmy Butler, and it was Udonis Haslem to start with. Then Eric Spoelstra got involved. Absolute chaos in this timeout. They were down. They were playing terribly against the Warriors. Hammer, what did you make of this? Is this a concern for you to see with their push now to the playoffs?
Well, what I love about this is it shows the strength of Spo. And his leadership within this organisation. He's got the confidence to be able to go at the big dog. Butler's a bully. That's the way he's always been. That's the way he acts. That's what makes him good as well. But sometimes a bully needs a flick on the nose as well to say, hold on a sec, well, I'm coaching the team. You're going to be kept accountable. We don't know what happened in it, but it would have been about accountability. Jimmy Butler stepping over the line like he has so many times in different teams that he's been with. And I think this is good for them. I think it's strong for them. I think their culture's strong. So, he looks like he'd probably sook it up for the next week or so, but I think bigger picture for them is that they're going to be a legitimate chance to make a run.
Well, they're hoping bigger picture it works out for them, because in the short term, Shane, it hasn't. They haven't won a game since then. And right now, the Heat, they're struggling. They've lost a game bad against Brooklyn yesterday at home. They've got to find a way to turn this around. But I agree with you. It gives a great insight into leadership structure And just covering this weekend's game here in Brisbane, I think that's one of the things, as we bring this domestically, that the Bullets probably suffer from, Shane, is no clear-cut leadership. If you want to say triangle or line, however you want to do it, centralized leadership is vital to a team's success.
How many coaches, head coaches in the NBA would actually act the way Spo did against their superstar?
I would say Greg Popovich, Eric Spoelstra, probably Doc Rivers. And then it starts to decrease because you don't know if you have the backing of your ownership group or your front office group.
Yep.
Yeah, very true. All right, back home in the NBL, Melbourne United went down badly against the Hawks. I guess the question, Dee, I'll come to you first, is should they be worried at such a poor performance at this stage in the season?
Well, firstly, because I was the only one to pick that game, and have Illawarra winning, I should actually get some bonus points. But no, Melbourne United should not be worried. They know who they are. They've got Baba coming back into the lineup. They're going to have some defensive problems adjusted over the next couple of weeks. Dean Vickerman is going to figure this thing out. Now, should they be worried about losing home court advantage throughout the finals? Definitely, because Sydney is going to go all the way to number one. They're not losing another game this season. You heard it right here, Hammer.
Yeah, I don't disagree, and I think Dean Vickerman will use this to his advantage. You know, when you're sitting on top for the majority of the season, things going pretty well, he would know that it's pretty close. They've probably overachieved, I think, with the talent they've got to this stage. Getting your ass handed to you like they did is actually a good thing. They need to be able to bounce back, and it's who brings the momentum at the end of the season. Sydney Kings are by far the hottest team in the competition right now. Can Melbourne United make a play towards the end of the year?
Hey, Joe, I know you've been away for a while, but since you've been back, who looks the better team between Melbourne United and Perth to you?
Oh, good question. I would say United, probably. And as you mentioned, knowing that they've got Bubba coming back from a defensive point of view, I think that they have looked better. But obviously, Perth, you'd never write them off at any point. I do. It does look like the top four are set in stone.
It's done.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. But love this time of year. We're getting down to the business end of the season, and we'll see what happens from here. Dee, thank you for that. We'll catch you next week.
Okay, guys.
Hey, check out Bet with Joel too. $15 winner today. He picked Kyrie Irving for a double-double. He had 16 and 11. I tell you, his followers are very happy. Bet with Joel. Check him out.
Love it. Well, that was fun.
What's the talk about, wasn't there?
Yeah.
A lot of banter today. Trash talk. We liked it.
No, it was good. It was
Xavier
good.
Cooks was good.
He was, really good insight from him as well. Good honesty as well. You don't always get that from players.
Refreshing.
Yes, definitely.
Good kid.
What are you most looking forward to this week before we go?
I think I'm going to the hub. So call a couple of games, get into it. That'll be good.
Nice to feel important again.
I don't know about
now that you've been out of the job for all of a week.
Yeah, exactly. Feet up.
Thank you guys for watching. As always, thank you to TCL Mobile, 2K and Bet with Joel, and we will be back next week.
See you then.
This is a co-production by News Corp Australia and Closer Sports.